What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm excited to bring you this new video here today. I know it's been a while, but I'm excited to be back and updating you guys on everything going on with NC State. I know it's still been a kind of a down period over the past month or so, but still some recruiting updates I want to give you guys, and of course in the football season coming up here in the next couple of weeks, give you a preview to that, break down the schedule. So let's get into it. First, we'll talk about some new football commits that just happened today and the past couple of weeks. The first recruit we're going to talk about is four-star in-state linebacker Jordan Poole, who committed to NC State about 3 weeks ago. He's at West Allen High School, the same high school as his cousin BJ Hill, who also went to NC State, and he's now in the NFL, a big-time player. He's a guy who's been on NC State's radar for a couple years now, even back when he was a 3-star recruit. He got a huge upgrade in the rankings by 247 Sports earlier this year, jumped him all the way up to a top 65 player in the country, getting that respect he deserves. His film is great. He's a great athlete, very, very strong, can play both sides of the ball, but I feel like NC State will use him as a linebacker, and what it will be a great linebacking core. It's already very young and it's continuing to get better. So glad to have Jordan Poole committed to NC State. His recruitment really took off over the past few months. He got offers from BC, South Carolina, I believe had already offered him, but South Carolina was up there in the mix. He got an offer from Florida State, and Florida State was showing heavy interest, but I think they hopped in a little too late. I know it was really between NC State and Virginia Tech. He really liked Virginia Tech, but in the end, those connections to NC State with CJ Clark, who's on the team now, being his cousin as well, and BJ Hill really having an influence on him and his decision. I'm just glad they got him to join the pack. The newest commit for the pack on Friday, which is today when I'm recording this video, was 3-star DN Zion Reeves. Zion is a massive 6'7" DN, very athletic, long arms, out of Kernersville, and the same high school as 4-star wide receiver commit Micah Crowell. So you have to think Crowell played a big factor in getting Zion on campus and getting him to join the pack. He's a guy who is kind of under the radar, 3-star prospect. He's another one of those 3-star guys that are underrated but can come to NC State and have big-time careers and make a name for themselves. He has got great size and great athleticism, and if he can get in the weight room and turn that into something on the field, I have no questions he'll be playing on Sundays. He's got all the physical tools. I'm excited to have him as a piece on our defense for the next few years or so. I'm glad that he's decided to join the pack. I know Micah Crowell is excited to have his high school teammate joining at NC State, and it's just a good pickup all around, and our class continues to grow. It won't be as highly rated as some schools. It may probably will finish in either the low 30s or the high 20s, but it's still a solid class with some with key in positions that have been filled. We're still not done yet. One of those last remaining guys on State's radar to fill out this class is safety Chase Hatley. He's an in-state safety out of Cary, 6'3", great size. He's another one of those under-the-radar recruits that's been taking his time with his recruitment. Rated 4-star by 247 Sports. He recently dropped his top 8 schools, and NC State did make the cut, along with some big-time schools like Oklahoma and Florida State, West Virginia. State's in great position for him. They've recruited him hard. He's a big-time talent, and he's got great ball skills as a safety. He's a very athletic player. And if State can land him, it'll be an important piece for the secondary. So hopefully State can get him on board and continue to grow this class. And I feel good about State's chances at the moment. We'll have to wait and see what his decision is. I'm not sure when he's making his decision. I can see it being sometime here right in the near future. So keep your eye on his decision. When he does make it, I'll definitely keep you guys updated and drop a video on it. But he would be a big-time piece for NC State if we can land him. Shifting gears now, I want to talk about this upcoming ACC football season and this new ACC-only football schedule that includes one non-conference game. Of course, State now will kick off the season against Wake Forest. It will not be Virginia Tech as originally thought. We were scheduled to start our season on September the 12th against Virginia Tech on the road, but now we will face the Wake Forest on the 19th at 8 o'clock p.m. kickoff time. Of course, we have a late kickoff with no fans. That's great. Thank you, ACC, but we play that game on the 19th at home to start the season. Wake Forest to start the season. Who would have thought this would be? Who would have thought that? And who would have thought that we'd have a schedule like this? It's just been it's crazy times. But I'm just glad we do have football, because conferences such as the Big Ten and the Pac12, as you know, have canceled their seasons or postponed their seasons. I know the Big Ten has had a lot of outrage from parents, from their players, as well as fans discussing why is their season canceled? Why can't they play? I know they've pushed maybe to try to play in November. There's been a lot of backlash about their decision. They've stuck to it so far, so we'll see what happens with their decision in the future. But the ACC is a go. NC State has their schedule set to go, and here it is right here. And when I made this graphic, Virginia Tech was still State's first opponent of the season, so we'll skip them for now, and we'll go down to Wake Forest, the team that State will play first, of course. And my prediction is that State will get a win against Wake Forest to open the season up. It's always hard to make a prediction for the very first game of the season because you don't know really what to expect, especially with this NC State team. But I just feel confident that State will be able to pick up a win. Again, it is Wake Forest, and it's a team that we struggled with last year big time, and of course the year before that, blowing that game on the Thursday night against Wake at home. That was a disaster, a terrible game. But I feel like State has a good opportunity here to open up the season strong. And I guess even though there's no fans, it helps being able to play at home. But I do have confidence that State can get this win. Also, now we know that Wake will be without their All-American star wide receiver, Say Surratt, who's getting prepared for the NFL draft and will skip his senior season. So, again, tough news for Wake, better news for State, and I feel like State can get this win to start the season. Moving on to Game 2 on the schedule, which will be at Virginia Tech, and State will travel to Plattsburgh. And this is going to be a tough game, a really talented team despite losing some players that are sitting out and preparing for the NFL. But it's still going to be tough for NC State. That's why I have them losing this game on the road, falling to 1-1. State could win it. You know, I'm not saying there's no chance for them to win it, but to me, it feels like this is going to be an uphill battle game. And for a young, inexperienced team, their first game on the road, I feel like they'll fall in this one. Game 3 on the schedule for NC State will be on the road at Pitt, taking on the Panthers at Heinz Field. Again, another tough game. That Pitt defense is they're for real. They got a really good defense and a lot of great returning players, so it's going to be hard to go in there and get a win. That's why I'm predicting State to fall in this one as well and fall to 1-2 on the season. Pitt is going to be a tough game, especially on the road, traveling that far. Whether there's fans there or not, it's going to be a hard-fought game. I do think it'll be close, but I do believe Pitt will get the win against State. Fourth game on the schedule is another road game. They'll travel to Virginia to take on the Cavaliers. Virginia is a team that is losing a lot of talent this year. They played in the Orange Bowl last year. It was a big-time game. Even though they did fall to Florida, it was great to have them in the ACC, represent the ACC, and with a really solid year. And this year, their talent has fallen off some, and that's why I feel like NC State can go in there and get a win. It's going to be a tough game, I believe, and State is going to have to fight, but I do believe they'll come out on top and get a big and much-needed win to get back to 500 in the ACC. Game 5 on the schedule is one I'm very, very excited about. I talked about it in the previous schedule breakdown video of the old schedule, but it's a game that I'm so excited to see State play, and they play Duke for the first time in 7 years. Duke will travel to Raleigh to take on NC State, and State will be looking to beat Duke for the first time in, I believe, 12 years. It was 2008 the last time State beat Duke, so they'll be looking to get that win, and I do believe State will get that win. Duke's a team that struggled, even though they had brought in a solid quarterback. Some people say the second best quarterback in the ACC behind Trevor Lawrence, the guy he was backing up, and Chase Bryce, a transfer from Clemson. He'll be the starting quarterback for Duke, so we'll see how good he is. But I don't think he'll be enough to have Duke compete at all in the ACC. It's still going to be lacking with a lot of talent. But I believe State will get the win against Duke and improve to 3-2. Game 6 on the schedule will be another road game, this time on the road at North Carolina. This is going to be a tough stretch starting for State, so I believe they'll be locked in and that they can get this win on the road. We've won, I believe, 4 of the last 5 and 9 of the last 13 against our rival North Carolina. Of course, last year's game, you really don't want to remember that game. It was a tough one. Playing with all those injuries, you don't want to make excuses, but I mean, you have to state the obvious. We're playing with 4th-string guys out there because we continue to deal with injuries from the first game of the season all the way throughout. It seemed like 1 or 2 guys were going down each and every single game, and it's just hard to deal with. It is what it is, put it past us. Hopefully this year we can stay healthy. And hopefully we can be at full strength throughout the whole season, not have to deal with those injuries. And going back to Carolina, of course they've gotten better. They went from 2 wins a couple years ago. They had 7 this past season with a bowl win, and Coach Brown's done a good job getting them back on track. But I believe we have to slow the hype down on North Carolina. They have a 7-win season, and now they're all of a sudden ACC contenders and being ranked in the top 25. I don't think so. I definitely don't have them in my top 25, and I do not think they're any type of ACC contender yet. But that's why I have, I think State's going to be able to knock them off. I think they're a little too overrated coming into the season. We'll see how they do. They may prove me wrong. I just don't see it. Our next game on the schedule will be our first of 2 against the ACC Florida schools back-to-back. First up is Miami, a team that we don't play as much, of course, than being in the Coastal, and it's nice to be able to get to play them and a couple of these other Coastal schools this year. And I think this is going to be a tough game. Miami's a really solid team. They're going to be up there in the ACC. They got the transfer quarterback King from Houston, who's a very explosive playmaker. And I think State will probably fall on this one. Then playing at home may give them a shot, but it's going to be tough to overcome a lot of talent that Miami has. Next up on the schedule to end this tough 3-game stretch will be Florida State. And it hurts me to say this, and I feel like this is going to be one of those games State lets us down. Talent-wise, State should have no problem competing with Florida State. It's been very, very the talent has been very close over the past few years. We've been back and forth with them in games that have been fairly close. I know last year's game kind of got away from us late, but we were still in that game for the most part with all the dysfunction we had. And with games like Liberty coming up, this will be huge to get some momentum to finish the season strong. But I feel like this is one of those games State's going to let us down. Hope I'm wrong. We have to see what happens, but I do believe State will fall to Florida State. Next up is our first and only out-of-conference game. Liberty will travel to Raleigh to take on the Pac. State should have no problem with this game. They should be able to get this win and build momentum to end the season. Liberty plays a tough schedule. They play 3 ACC schools. They play Syracuse. They go to Syracuse, go to Virginia Tech, and then they come to Raleigh. So they're going to have their hands full, and State should not have any problem handling Liberty. You never know. You know how State is, but I do think State will be able to easily win this game. Up next, State will travel to the Carrier Dome up in Syracuse to take on the Orange. Syracuse is a team that has lost a lot of talent as well, and State should not have a problem handling Syracuse. Syracuse was the only team we got a win against in the ACC last year, so I think that'll be a confidence booster for them to go up there. I know last time we went up there, we were in that shootout. I think it was 51-41. We failed. It was a game we should have won. This is another game we should win. But I do think we get up there and we take care of business and get a win against Syracuse and continue to close out this regular season strong. And the final game on NC State's regular season schedule will be a home game at Carter Finley against Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech is a team that State played last year. They did lose. To me personally, they should have won that game despite injuries and whatever they had whatever they were dealing with. That was a very winnable game. And this year, I feel like the talent level, State should not have a problem beating Georgia Tech. The way Georgia Tech plays, they are improving. It may give State some trouble, but State should be able to win and end the season on a 3-game winning streak. So I expect State to beat Georgia Tech and close out the season on a positive note. Whether there is a postseason game or not, it's still nice. It would be nice to see State end the season with a potentially 3 or 4 game winning streak and close out the season. My prediction is they will finish at 7-4 overall, 6-6 in the ACC. So we'll see what happens. This is my prediction for NC State on this regular season schedule. I believe that's going to do it for the end of this video. I'm glad to be able to talk about some new recruits, some new commitments, some big-time commitments, break down this new schedule. I'm excited for this new football season coming up in a couple weeks. Had to get in here and, as I promised, break down this new schedule. If you did enjoy this video, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for future videos. Be on the lookout. And as always, thank you for watching, and go Pac.